Mom and Dad for putting up with all of my ups and downs, left and rights. On the professional side, here locally, clearly Judge Munley, who I clerked for 4.5 years, it was an honor and a privilege, really with all the judges in the Middle District, but especially with the judge, and having the opportunity to get to know his wife, Kathleen, over the past several years has really been something special. As a Jesuit volunteer in Anchorage, Alaska, I worked at an HIV/AIDS office. Halfway during our year, we had a client that had a 2-year-old son who was getting sick. And on a Friday afternoon around noon, he was in the hospital with pneumocystis pneumonia and his lungs were filling up. The lead case manager called a local attorney named Tom Janidlo. He met the client at the hospital, drafted a will in his notes, and in Alaska, the will needs to be filed. He went back to his office by 3 and was at the courthouse before to get the will filed. Now, the client died over the weekend, and the will provided custody to the lead case manager. Well, the lead case manager knew that another woman on her staff wanted to adopt this 2-year-old. So for the next several months, Tom, the attorney who worked the adoption for free, did all of the background checks and investigation and filed all the forms. And as clear as today, I can still remember the final adoption hearing day. There walked Tom right behind the staff member carrying the 2-year-old son. And that was the moment that I said, if this is what practicing law can be, then I'm all in. The ability to be humorous in all of life's sufferings and joys grounds me and can ground you. If you can truly be yourself and you feel called to be doing something, then go ahead and do it to the very best of your ability. And if it works out, it does. If it doesn't, it won't. But don't allow that to hold you back. The grade school I went to was on the same block as my grandparents' house. So there was a period of time in 5th grade, every day after school, for months, I would walk down to Grandma and Grandpa's house. Grandma would fix me up a snack, and then Grandpa and I would watch the Newlywed Show, and eventually we'd watch Wheel of Fortune. Well, fast forward 20 or 30 years, and my grandparents had moved on, they had passed, and Wheel of Fortune was coming into town, and I was thinking about them. So I put my name in for the contestant audition, and they said, great. I got an email a week later that said, come on down to the Woodlands on this day and time. They said you'd either get a letter saying you've made it onto the show or you won't hear from us. Sure enough, a couple weeks later, the letter from Wheel of Fortune comes in. They said, hey, we want you to be down here the first week of October. Awesome, exciting. Only problem is I was supposed to start my law clerkship with Judge Munley October 1st. So even before I started for the judge, I had to call Chambers and say, hi, this is Teddy. Can I start a week later? I need to go to California to tape Wheel of Fortune. Fast forward, I was the 5th show taped. I go on to the show, and by nature, I am not a very good puzzle solver. But I knew I could spin a wheel. I knew I could call letters. And sure enough, my big moment came in the final round. I called the letter S. There were 5 of them in the puzzle. As Vanna is walking from this side of the board to this side, Pat says, well, I think this might do it. So sure enough, I got buzzed out. The next person got it. But what most people don't know is that I went onto the show with props tucked into my pocket. And I had my Grandma and Grandpa's mask cards in my pocket on the Wheel of Fortune. So at the end of the day, it really didn't matter whether I won any money at all. I just wanted to go on the show and spin the wheel with Grandma and Grandpa one more time. So I am who I am, and I'm here today because of because of an amazing woman named Cindy, who's been married to me since 2002, and the adventure just continues.